Hi everyone, so welcome to part 2 of the picking up and handling videos that I'm doing this week. This video is all about handling and I'm going to split it up into 3 parts. So we've first got the carrying your guinea pig from place to place, handling them and general petting when they're on your lap, and then when you're returning them back to the cage. So putting them back in the cage is one of those situations where things can go wrong and it can be missed out of general handling advice for guinea pigs. So I'm going to make sure that I cover that in this video. So if you missed the first video, there'll be a link on the screen now and below in the description box. And in that video I just kind of went through some general methods to make it easier for you to actually pick up and lift your guinea pigs out of the cage. And kind of stress that it's all about practice and patience, and with time you will become more confident with handling your guinea pigs. So obviously safety is the most important thing when handling guinea pigs. We want to make them feel safe and secure, and we want to reduce the risk of any accidents happening. And obviously making them feel safe is a really important part of bonding and helping them become more tame and getting used to us. So let's get on with the video. So first up we've got carrying your guinea pigs, and Annie is going to be my model today. First I'm going to show you the correct way you should be holding your guinea pigs when you're carrying them from place to place. So we should use both hands, we should have a firm grip but still remembering that they are only delicate, so we don't want to be squeezing them in any way. The way to hold them is you should use one hand. I use my right hand, but if you were left-handed you might use your left hand. And this hand kind of goes under the front part of their body, and I also like to gather in the front feet in there like that. And I use the thumb to support the shoulder and kind of grip the side of their body that way. And then the other hand should kind of scoop underneath underneath the bottom and also get the back legs in there so we can kind of support all of her legs. I find with my guinea pigs that they are much less likely to struggle if all of their legs are gathered up in my hands rather than if they've got any legs dangling out in midair. So as you can see, Annie is quite happy being held this way. She's not squirming, she's not trying to get away, and if I were going to carry her, what I'd also do is hold her more against my body just to give her a bit more security. So when we're holding our guinea pigs, we should always remember that any kind of sudden noises could shock them and make them jump out of our arms. It also might happen that your guinea pigs might panic and start squirming when you're already carrying them. So if I was standing up and walking along and carrying Annie and then she suddenly started squirming and trying to get away, then I would be ready to drop down to my knees. I'd be ready to put her on my lap and kind of comfort her a bit and maybe get a better grip on her before I carried on. So be ready to kind of drop down to your knees. Not only does it make them easier for you to hold them and get a better grip on them, but it also means that it's much less likely that they're going to hurt themselves if they do fall out of your arms. What you can also do if you're worried about skittish guinea pigs is use some kind of prop to carry them in, so like a fleece blanket or a bed, anything like that. And what you could do is, as soon as you've picked them up from the cage, you could have a blanket ready like this one, and you can just pop them onto there and then wrap them up in this and carry them like that. So it goes without saying, especially if you've got young or skittish piggies, that you should only carry one at a time. It's a lot greater risk of one of them falling and hurting themselves if you've got 2 in there. So it might be that you need 2 people, one to look after the guinea pig that you've carried out and the other one to go and fetch the other one, but it definitely makes it a lot more safer. If you've got tamer, older piggies, then I think it is okay to carry more than one of them at a time. I do carry both of them, they're quite comfortable sat next to each other inside a blanket. Of course I don't carry them with my bare hands, both of them at the same time. So it does really help to use a prop when you're carrying skittish guinea pigs. So well done Annie, you were very well behaved, weren't you? Thank you for being such a good model. So when we've brought our guinea pigs out of the cage and we're sat with them out for lap time, obviously we don't really need to carry on supporting them with both our hands. Guinea pigs are quite happy to sit still on your lap. They're not like a hamster that'll carry on moving all the time. If you did want to kind of bring them up for a cuddle and hold them against your body, then you can do. You can hold them like I showed when you were carrying them with both hands, or you can also bring them up to your shoulder and hold them kind of vertical with them resting against your shoulder. Some guinea pigs like that, and some guinea pigs aren't too comfortable with that. I wouldn't do that if you had particularly skittish or younger piggies. What you should definitely not do is hold them in any kind of position that's unnatural or uncomfortable for them. I see lots and lots of pictures on the internet of guinea pigs being held on their back, and I think this is awful. It's so cruel. It's unnatural for them to be held like that. And yes, some guinea pigs will not move, they won't protest in any way, but you can tell by looking at their eyes, they've got the wide eyes, that they are not comfortable being held in that position. It's not natural for them, and the only reason why they're not moving and not squirming away is because they're too scared and they don't know what to do. So please don't hold your guinea pigs in any kind of unnatural position, like on their back or anything. So when you've got them out for lap time, it's a good idea to have a fleece or something, not only so that then they've got something to kind of snuggle up in or curl up in, but also to protect you in case there are any toilet accidents. But what you'll probably find is that most guinea pigs kind of start squirming and trying to get away if they need the toilet. Sorry, I just had to put Sprite back in the cage because she was squirming. I think she was doing exactly what I was talking about and needing the toilet. So as I was going to say, another behaviour that you might find that your scared or skittish guinea pigs might do when they're out for lap time is they might do a kind of vibration where they kind of vibrate and then they stop, and then a few seconds later they'll do it again. So this isn't any sign of them being cold or shivering, it's actually just something that they do when they're feeling a bit nervous and a bit scared. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't go away and put them back in the cage as soon as they start doing this. It's just something that they do, and as they spend more time out on lap time and they get used to you more and they become more tame, then eventually they will stop doing that. I do have a video that I did not too long ago on lap time and kind of bonding with your piggies, so if you want more information on lap time, then there'll be a link on the screen to that video too. Just something to say about small children. If you've got small children and they want to handle the guinea pigs, I definitely wouldn't let them pick them up or carry them anywhere. However, I think it's fine to, let them stroke them when they're on their lap. If they're in a towel or a fleece and the guinea pigs feel safe and secure, then I think it's perfectly fine for a small child to stroke them. I just wouldn't let them carry them or pick them up anywhere. Obviously, as a small child, they've only got small hands, and they might not know how much pressure to apply, and they might be more likely to drop them by accident. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is when you are returning your guinea pigs back to the cage, and handling them here. You need to be especially careful because obviously the guinea pig will know that it's going back in the cage, and often they'll try and squirm and jump out of your hands before you've had chance to lower them down properly. A lot of accidents can actually happen when people are putting their guinea pigs back into the cage and lowering them down. It's surprisingly common to hear about guinea pigs who have broken a bone or broken one of their front teeth. It's more common than you'd think for guinea pigs to jump out of the hands of their owner and perhaps bump their mouth on the side of the cage or on a food bowl or something in the cage and break some of their front teeth. So it's very important to have a firm grip when you're lowering them down into the cage, and you might even choose to lower them down bottom first so they can't see the cage and they don't know it's there. And again, for more security, you might choose to have them wrapped up in a towel or some fleece or something and lower them down and then unwrap them so that they can just walk out onto the cage. So by way of an example, I'm just going to lower Sprite down into the cage, and you'll be able to see that she struggles quite a lot. She's a guinea pig that gets quite excited about going back into the cage. She's quite unsettled, and this is an example where you would need to be more aware and more prepared to kind of tighten your grip and hold her more tightly so she doesn't slip out and bump herself or jump into the cage too soon and injure herself in any way. There you go, piggy. There you go. So she's struggling a bit, she's getting a bit excited, and she's gonna jump. So I'm just gonna lower her down gently. There she goes. So they might even sit quite still and then suddenly make a leap for it as well. That's something else you want to watch out for when you're putting them back in the cage. I think the best way to lower them into the cage is using a bed or a towel or something, and that way they are completely secure. So I'm going to lower Annie into the cage with the fleece, and I hope you'll see that she's not struggling at all, and as soon as I unwrap the fleece she's quite happy to just walk away and carry on with her business. There we go, pig. There. So I hope you can see that was a lot easier for me to lower Annie in using the fleece than it was just using my bare hands with Sprite. So that's all for this video. I hope you found it useful and picked up some tips for when you're handling your guinea pigs. For anyone with very skittish piggies or really young piggies, I definitely recommend using a towel or a fleece blanket when you're carrying them around and when you're putting them back in the cage. It really will help them feel safe and lower the chance of any accidents of them falling onto the floor and hurting themselves. And again, with time and practice you will become a lot better at handling your guinea pigs, and of course they will become more tame and more used to you. So if you've just got guinea pigs, perhaps you've only owned them for a few weeks or a few months, and you're worried that they're very skittish and you know they're not getting any better at being picked up, that kind of thing, then don't worry, just keep trying, keep practicing, and eventually you will get there. It might take a year, it really varies between individual guinea pigs, but eventually they will be tame and you will be much happier at handling them and being able to carry them round. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please comment below if you have any more questions, and please subscribe if you haven't already. So thank you, goodbye.